Making perfect fondant can seem tricky. Many bakers struggle to get it smooth and easy to work with. But don't worry, I'm here to share my secrets for fondant success. These tips are passed down through generations of bakers, and now you can have them too. My recipe uses simple ingredients but requires attention to detail. Each step is important for achieving that flawless finish we all want. Get ready to impress your friends and family with your newfound fondant skills. You might be surprised to learn that egg yolks are not used in traditional fondant. This might come as a shock to many, especially those who are new to the art of fondant making. We only use egg whites. Yes, you heard that right. The secret to achieving that perfect, smooth, and pliable fondant lies in the humble egg white. Why? Egg whites provide elasticity and a beautiful pearly sheen. When whisked to perfection, they transform into a glossy, fluffy mixture that is ideal for creating fondant. They create a fondant that's strong enough to hold its shape, but still easy to roll and mold. This balance is crucial for any cake decorator aiming for a flawless finish. Egg yolks, on the other hand, contain fat. While they are rich and flavorful, they are not suitable for fondant. Fat can make your fondant greasy and difficult to work with. The presence of fat disrupts the texture, making it sticky and unmanageable. It can also cause the fondant to become soft and lose its shape. This is a nightmare for any cake decorator as it can ruin the overall appearance of the cake. So, stick with egg whites for the best results. By using egg whites, you ensure that your fondant remains smooth, elastic, and easy to work with. This simple ingredient swap can make a world of difference in your cake decorating endeavors. Whether you're a professional baker or a home enthusiast, understanding the role of egg whites in fondant can elevate your creations to the next level. So next time you're preparing fondant, remember the key to smoothness lies in the egg whites. Baking is all about precision, and fondant is no exception. Here's what you'll need. Granulated sugar, 2 cups. Water, 1/4 cup. Light corn syrup, 1/4 cup. Egg whites, 2 large. Vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. Always use a kitchen scale to measure your sugar for accuracy. The right amount of sugar is crucial for achieving the correct fondant consistency. Too much sugar can make your fondant dry and crumbly, while too little will make it too soft. Start by combining the granulated sugar, water, and light corn syrup in a saucepan. These 3 ingredients are the foundation of your fondant, and getting the proportions right is crucial. Use a heavy-bottomed saucepan to ensure even heat distribution, which helps prevent the sugar from burning. Stir the mixture over medium heat until the sugar dissolves completely. This step is important because undissolved sugar can cause your fondant to be grainy. Make sure to stir continuously and gently, scraping down the sides of the pan to incorporate all the sugar crystals. Once the sugar has dissolved, stop stirring and allow the mixture to come to a boil. It's crucial not to stir the mixture at this stage, as it can cause crystallization, which will ruin the smooth texture of your fondant. Let the mixture boil undisturbed. This sugar syrup forms the base of your fondant. As it boils, the water will evaporate, concentrating the sugar and corn syrup. This process is what gives fondant its unique texture and pliability. It's essential to cook the syrup to the correct temperature, which is the softball stage. That's 235 to 240 degrees Fahrenheit, or 112 to 115 degrees Celsius, on a candy thermometer. Using a candy thermometer is the most accurate way to ensure you reach the right temperature. This ensures that your fondant will set properly and have the right texture. To test the texture, you can drop a small amount of the syrup into a bowl of cold water. If it forms a soft, pliable ball, then you've reached the soft ball stage. This step is crucial for achieving the perfect consistency for your fondant, making it smooth and easy to work with. After reaching the correct temperature, pour the syrup onto a marble surface or a large, flat baking sheet. Allow it to cool slightly before kneading. Kneading the fondant helps to incorporate air, making it smooth and elastic. This process can take some time, but it's worth the effort for a perfect finish. Once the fondant is smooth and pliable, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap to prevent it from drying out. Store it in an airtight container at room temperature until you're ready to use it. Proper storage is key to maintaining the fondant's consistency and usability. When you're ready to use the fondant, roll it out on a surface lightly dusted with powdered sugar. This prevents sticking and makes it easier to work with. Your fondant should be smooth, flexible, and ready to cover cakes or create decorations. Section 5. kneading your way to success. While the sugar syrup cooks, beat the egg whites in a separate bowl until they form stiff peaks. Once the syrup reaches the softball stage, carefully pour it into the beaten egg whites in a slow, steady stream while continuously beating with an electric mixer. Continue beating until the mixture cools down and forms a thick, glossy dough. Turn the dough out onto a lightly powdered surface and knead for a few minutes until it becomes smooth and pliable. Section 6. Avoiding common fondant faux pas. One common mistake is adding too much liquid to the fondant. This can make it sticky and difficult to handle. If your fondant feels too wet, gradually knead in small amounts of powdered sugar until it reaches the desired consistency. Another mistake is over-kneading the fondant. Over-kneading can develop the gluten in the fondant, making it tough and difficult to roll out. Knead the fondant just until it becomes smooth and pliable, then stop. Section 7. Troubleshooting cracks, tears, and stickiness. In this section, we will delve into common issues you might face while working with fondant and provide practical solutions to ensure your cake decorating process goes smoothly. If your fondant cracks while rolling, it's probably too dry. This can happen if the fondant has been exposed to air for too long, or if it wasn't stored properly. Dry fondant can be frustrating to work with, but don't worry, there's a simple fix. To fix this, add a tiny amount of water or shortening to the fondant and knead it in until it becomes more pliable. Start with just a few drops of water or a small dab of shortening, and gradually add more if needed. Kneading thoroughly is key to achieving a smooth, workable texture. If your fondant tears easily, it might be too warm. Warm fondant can become too soft and stretchy, making it difficult to handle. This often happens if the fondant has been overworked or if the room temperature is too high. Let it cool down at room temperature for a few minutes before continuing. You can also try placing it in a cool, dry area to help it firm up. Patience is important here. Rushing the process can lead to more tearing. If your fondant is sticky, lightly dust your work surface and rolling pin with powdered sugar. Stickiness can be a result of humidity or the fondant being too warm. Dusting with powdered sugar helps to absorb excess moisture and prevents the fondant from sticking to your tools. You can also try chilling the fondant in the refrigerator for a few minutes to make it firmer. This is especially useful if you find the fondant becoming too soft to work with. Just be careful not to leave it in the fridge for too long, as it can become too hard and difficult to roll out. By following these tips, you can troubleshoot common fondant issues and achieve a smooth, professional finish on your cakes. Section 8. Coloring your fondant creations. Once you've mastered plain fondant, you can let your creativity shine by adding color. Use gel food coloring for the best results, as liquid food coloring can change the consistency of your fondant. Knead a small amount of gel food coloring into your fondant until it's evenly distributed. If you want to create different shades or colors, divide the fondant into smaller portions and color each one separately. Section 9. Storing fondant for future use. Wrap any unused fondant tightly in plastic wrap and store it in an airtight container at room temperature. Properly stored fondant can last for several weeks. Avoid refrigerating fondant as the moisture can make it sticky. When you're ready to use stored fondant, simply knead it for a few minutes until it becomes soft and pliable again. You can then roll it out and use it to decorate your cakes and treats. Section 10. A personal touch, my fondant journey. I remember the first time I made fondant. It was a disaster. It was sticky, lumpy, and impossible to work with. But I didn't give up. I kept practicing and experimenting until I finally cracked the code to perfect fondant. The key is patience and attention to detail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow as bakers. With a little practice, you'll be amazed at what you can create. Section 11. Ready to roll? Now that you know the secrets to perfect fondant, it's time to put your skills to the test. Gather your ingredients, follow these tips, and don't forget to have fun. And if you're looking for a delicious cake recipe to pair with your fondant masterpiece, be sure to check out my previous video. Happy baking!